Good evening, everybody. It's a special call meeting September the 5th, Owensboro Board of Commissioners. At this time, I'll ask the City Clerk, Beth Davis, to please call the roll.
Commissioner Pam Smithroyd.
Here.
Commissioner Sharon Neesmith. Here. Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mark Kesslin.
Here.
Commissioner Bob Glenn.
Here. Thank you. At this time, we'll call on Angela Waniger to steal the show.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
We are having a public hearing as required by KRS 132.027, and it requires the reading of the following narrative. The tax levied last year was .2640 and produced revenues in the amount of $10,424,742 from real property. This year's compensating rate is .2560 and will produce revenues in the amount of $10,457,752. The City of Owensboro, Kentucky proposes a tax rate of .2640, which will produce a total of $10,914,315 in revenues. Revenue expected from new property is $129,758. It is also proposed that a personal property rate of .2708 be set, yielding an estimated revenue of $1,175,071. Revenue received in excess of last year's revenue will be used for general expenditures. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Hey, got an open mic to the public for any kind of comment. I'm not going to ask Barbara again. She got up last time. Would you like to expound on that a little bit, City Manager?
Mayor, be happy to. Thank you. Just to kind of clarify, we're not proposing any change to the property tax rate. So the property tax rate will remain the same as it's been for the last 4 years. And the vehicle rate is not changing on your vehicular taxes, and it's been the same rate for 20 some odd years, I believe.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So just to clarify summarize what she was saying.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. I make a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We're adjourned till 5 o'clock. Everyone, to the regular board meeting in 5 September 2023. We're glad to have some people in the audience. It's nice. At this time, I'll ask City Clerk Beth Davis to please call the roll.
Commissioner Pam Smithwright. Here. Commissioner Sharon Neesmith. Here. Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mark Kesslin.
Here.
Commissioner Bob Glenn.
Here. Thank you. This time, we'll have the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Bob Glenn, please stand if you're able.
Bow with me in prayer and meditation. Dear Heavenly and gracious Father, we thank you for all the blessings of living in this beautiful city of Owensboro, Kentucky. You provided us with so many great blessings. We have a caring community, an economically strong business climate. We have a community that cares about its neighbors and about its future. And so, Lord, tonight as we meet, we ask for your insight and the enlightenment you can provide for us to make good decisions that are pleasing unto you and move our community forward. Lord, we also want to recognize that we do have problems, and like any city, we're trying to meet those challenges. Help us to do that, Lord. Give us the strength and wisdom to move forward and address issues such as homelessness and drug addiction and economic disparity. And finally, Lord, bless our city employees. They do such incredible work. Protect them, Lord. Protect our police, our fire, our 911 operators. Protect our sanitation workers, our parks and rec folks, those who work on our streets, and those who work in the offices, keeping the wheels of our community humming, Lord. We thank you for all the blessings you provide. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
And now the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. First item on the agenda is item 4 for presentation. We're going to proclaim National Recovery Month, September. As a sidebar, I got to tell you that when I was 19, I was in a pretty good accident, and they gave me all the morphine you could give me every 24 hours, every 3 hours, 24 hours a day for 27 straight days. And the way you got off of it, they came in, took the IV out, put it on your chest, said, good luck. So I got to stay awake about 11 days trying to get off all that dope. So this is near and dear to my heart that we have trained people such as Dr. Clark that can help people that are in that same situation. So I'm going to read this proclamation, and I'll come down in front and present it to you if that's okay. City of Owensboro proclamation. Whereas recovery from mental and substance use disorders, including co-occurring disorders, is an essential part of health and one's overall wellness. Whereas the treatment and recovery services for mental and substance use disorders and co-occurring disorders is effective and people can recover in our area and around the nation. Whereas addressing and overcoming mental and substance use disorders and co-occurring disorders is essential to achieving a healthy lifestyle, both physically and emotionally. And whereas we must encourage relatives and friends of people with mental and substance use disorders and co-occurring disorders to implement preventive measures, recognize the signs of problem, and encourage those in need of help to seek appropriate treatment and recovery support services. And whereas mental health and substance use disorders affect all communities nationwide, with commitment and support, those impacted can embark on a journey of improved health and overall wellness. Now, therefore, I, Thomas Hart Watson, Mayor of the City of Owensboro, do hereby proclaim the month of September 23rd as National Recovery Month in Owensboro, and I urge all citizens to observe this month with appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies supporting National Recovery Month. It's signed and sealed this 5th day of September. So, Dr. Clark, I'll meet you down front. You can bring whoever you want if you're afraid of them. What's the bulwark mission? You gonna tell us in a minute? Sure. Let's get over here in the middle. Okay, everybody got the children toy ready? What you doing? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Okay, Dr. Clark, you go to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Tell us your story. How you doing? Good, good to see you.
I didn't know I was going to speak tonight, but thank you for the opportunity. I would like to highlight my coworkers that are here. We have Amy Pride, who is our CEO, Teresa Thomas, who is our development director, and Arturo Flores, who is our program director. And we make up the team that runs the Bulware mission. Bulware has been in existence for over 101 years here in Owensboro, so we're one of the longest standing businesses I can think of here. We do a faith-based treatment program for men. Our program is long-term, so we have men that come and stay anywhere from 3-6 months to a year or longer. We have a phased program where they complete licensed treatment in the first month, and then they move into case management services where they secure employment and begin to save money, live on a budget, stay with us, go to classes, and continue saving money through transition as we teach them more and more self-sufficiency skills. Just this past year, we were fortunate to open up the Blandford House, which houses 4 men in long-term recovery, and we will be opening 15 additional beds before the end of the year for transition. This will bring us up to 60 beds, right? So we're very, very proud of the progress that we make. We are one of the Owensboro-Davis County nonprofits. This year we're on target to serve over 45,000 meals to those men that come. So we depend a lot on grants and on community contributions, and we operate on a shoestring, and I think we do really good quality treatment. We also have a gambling program, which is the only one in the state of Kentucky, and I'm proud to say that we treat outpatient gamblers there, and we can have them inpatient as well. With the first sports bets being placed in Kentucky in 2 days, we're going to see an increase in the need for those kinds of services as well. Anything I missed? Anybody have any questions?
Any questions from the dais? Mark Castle.
Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Castle, I'm sorry.
I'm just curious, how many people do you have signed up for the Gamblers Anonymous?
Well, in outpatient right now, I'm running
Outpatient.
around eight individuals. I thought you were going to ask how many men we had in treatment, and I was going to say that's about 42 today. So we're busy.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? You're the queen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have a guest in the audience? I'd like to recognize Senator Boswell. He came in, snuck in, and I'm not sure what he's here for, but I'm glad to have you. Nothing bad. Okay, I'm digging that. Next item on the agenda is famous Tim Ross for an air show update.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. Excited about the air show coming up again. We didn't have one last year, but it's right around the corner in a couple of weeks, so we just wanted to give everybody an update. If you've not looked at the information on the website, to make sure the community, whether or not you're going to the show or not, is aware of some of the things coming up. So obviously, events like this can't be possible without some key partners. Really appreciate Mark Marsh and Owensboro Health stepping up again with a significant sponsorship, as well as quite a few other companies, Jerry Ray Davis, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Century Aluminum, Independence, you can see them there, Big Rivers, Fiscal Court, and then Contour Airlines, that's new in town, is a part of that event, so is Envision and Sunbelt. So a lot of big partners, most all of those have larger sponsorships than they've had with us in the past, so we're excited to be able to partner with them to help make this happen for the community. We do have some, obviously, things that affect the folks in town that, whether, again, you're going to the show or not, the bridge will be closed at different times, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We've already shared some posts with these in the media, but just to reinforce, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's closures at different times of that bridge that'll be required for the FAA and us to do practices and the demonstrations. Simultaneously, the river will be closed at that same time. We've had quite a few emails from boaters wanting to know if they can get on the river and what times. Again, all those are posted on the website, but the river itself and the bridge will be closed during those practices and demonstrations Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so what's taking place as far as activities that go, Friday the 15th, out at the airport, we do this typically every Friday late afternoon and evening time, and we get thousands and thousands of folks that come out there to enjoy static display, different military aircraft that the family and kiddos can climb inside and get a chance to see up close. Thunderbirds are supposed to do a meet and greet out there around 5:30 or 6 o'clock that evening by one of their jets, and a lot of civilian aircraft that are on display out there from Civil Air Patrol and other organizations in town that kind of are part of the aviation industry for people to learn about. Then there's evening demonstrations as well, and a fireworks display that night by Independence Bank to kind of finish off the evening, which will be somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. So great opportunity to get out there on Friday for folks to enjoy some kind of the one, we call it the up-close opportunity for you, compared to just watching them over the river. You can kind of get up close and personal with them. So what we do that evening to kind of take a gauge as to how many people are out there, there is a $5 admission charge to get in there on Friday evenings, but Davis County Fiscal Court partners with us, and they call it Hometown Heroes Night. So they provide free admission for first responders, veterans, active duty military, and children. All get in free, and they can avoid that $5 charge out there that evening. And then all of those folks, first responders, military, can sign up for a chance on site to win one of 3 rides on those Huey helicopters that come into town. So we typically have quite a few folks that sign up for that, like have done in years past. So Friday night's an exciting time to get out there and see everything up close. Parking for it, obviously at the airport, is a little bit challenging. Our public works folks and police department do a good job of facilitating that ingress and egress, but we utilize all those fields there on Biddle Road to park folks. So if you're coming out there, come in via Biddle Road to utilize any of those fields for parking. And good and bad is that all those fields typically fill up within about an hour of us opening the gates. You know, we open the gates at 4:30. They're typically full by around that 5:30 time frame. So we've worked out with U.S. Bank this year to provide some overflow parking areas there at their facility at Carter and Tamarack. So that's specifically overflow parking. So once everything's full on Biddle Road there, then it will push it over to that U.S. Bank site. So don't show up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock at U.S. Bank, because there won't be anybody there except U.S. Bank workers. We're not going to have trolleys. So starting at 5 o'clock is when we'll open that up, and then we've got trolley service to get those folks back and forth to the airport and keep them off of Carter Road and Biddle Road. So we're excited that we were able to work that out with U.S. Bank to provide that this year with some extra parking opportunities. And then Saturday and Sunday, everything shifts downtown. Again, the bridge will be closed on Saturday, so we've got Bridge Day. That we would normally refer to that as that. Thousands of folks come walk the bridge and bike the bridge for a few hours that morning. From about 8 in the morning, we'll get that opened up till about 12:30 when we start the show, and we have to clear that off. Obviously, lots of food vendors up and down the riverfront. All the downtown restaurants are quite busy that day to get your food before the show starts about 1 o'clock. So the show will start at 1, and it should be wrapped up based on weather, that we don't have any delays in anything. Just before 4 o'clock, the show should be done both Saturday and Sunday. If you want a spot with reserved seating, we get questions from people all over the country saying, hey, can I just reserve a spot so I don't have to come down there too early with my camp chairs and carve out a spot amongst everybody? So again, on our airshow website, you can reserve those. They've got tables available down by the terrace and the pier, as well as they still have some seats available up in the balconies. That includes food and drinks and such for you to enjoy that if you want to get away from the crowds a little bit and have a little more VIP experience there. One of the other things that happens on Air Show weekend, we traditionally do, there's a great group of guys and ladies with a group called Army Aviation Heritage Foundation, and they bring in a Huey and a Cobra helicopter and offer paid rides for folks to be able to enjoy a little bit of military history. And I've had, I think, 5 emails from people around the country, none of them from Kentucky, asking this week about what time do they start? Hey, where's the link that I can go sign up for those? So it's pretty popular. They sell hundreds and hundreds of rides every year. So if you're interested in that, you can go online to the website to sign up in advance, or you can just sign up. They're going to be offering those rides both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and you can go out to the main airport terminal, and that's where they'll be located again if you want to take advantage of those ride opportunities. So the groups that we've got in town this year for the show, the Air Show, the Air Force parachute demo team called Wings of Blue will be around. Bill Stein, Ghost Rider Air Shows, who does skywriting and a great evening air show. Vampire Air Shows is going to be there. That's the first single jet engine aircraft that the military had. Haven't had him here before. Flagship Detroit's got a big DC-3 that's coming. Kevin Coleman flies with Red Bull, so he's going to be back in town again. We talked about the Army Aviation folks. We've got Ace Maker, which is a classic T-33 jet from Korean and Vietnam era. Air Evac's going to be out there on static display Friday evening so folks can see what that aircraft does on a daily basis here in town when they've got medical emergencies. Black Hawk helicopter coming from Fort Knox. We got a Coast Guard fixed-wing aircraft that's coming from out of state, as well as C-130 that's going to be on display and be a jump platform for the team. And then obviously the Thunderbirds jet team is back in town. So we're thrilled to have them back. They've been a great team to work with this year. Lots of opportunities. I don't know if people have seen them on Thursdays. We're doing something called Thunderbird Thursdays. And the last one will be this week, where folks from the community submitted questions that they always wanted to ask a fighter pilot, and they recorded videos. And the team for the last 6 weeks has taken time to shoot videos back and respond to folks from our local community. And so we've been posting those on the Facebook page every Thursday. I know they've got several interviews they've got coming up even this week for folks. So they've done a great job of embracing. They're excited to come back to Kentucky for the first time in a long time. So we're excited about the air show. Obviously, lots of activities next week. The team gets here some of the team gets here Wednesday, and then the rest of the team will get here on Thursday. So it'll be busy downtown and out at the airport. And that's it. Happy to answer any other questions.
Tim, you do a tremendous job of putting this thing together, and I tell you what, I've got friends all over the country that heard about it, and they're all calling. I said, well, bring your wallet and come on down. We'll take care of you, you know.
Yeah, hotels are kind of hard to come by already this weekend, but that's okay.
Hotels, I didn't do too well with the hotels, by the way. But a great effort, and it's a signature event for our community, and appreciate all your work.
Yep, happy to be part of it. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I think Commissioner Smith-Wright's got a question.
Commissioner Smith-Wright.
How long is the ride that I saw? The price was $600 and some odd dollars.
It depends on if you're in the Huey or in the Cobra. Yeah, the Cobra is expensive. It's expensive to operate, but they still sell dozens of those rides in that Cobra helicopter every year. So it's about a 15-minute ride, if I remember correctly, in that aircraft. The Huey ride's a little bit shorter in time frame, and I think it starts at either $100 or $110 for those rides in the Huey.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I took a ride in Louisville on the, I don't know, I was sitting in a tornado seat. So if you're going to ride in these things, you don't want to get the back seat on the right side by the window. That's a hurricane window. I mean, you just about get blown out of that thing. So just a little information in case you want to jump. You're not going? Okay. Yes. Commissioner Neesmith.
I just wanted to let y'all know we do have a citizen, a veteran that's 92 years old, Walter Dukes, and he flew aircraft into Vietnam and stuff. And he is every year tries to go out there and convince him to let him fly Huey one more time. So I told him, I said, I have no pull, I can't make that happen, but I will let him know if he's got enough money, he can go do it.
That's right.
So what's the Huey? How much is the Huey?
It's about $100 or $110 per person. Yeah.
We can do that. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's hear it. Okay, next item on the agenda, 5A, consider approval of minutes dated August the 15th, 2023. I'll make a motion to approve these minutes. Could I have a second?
Second.
Any deletions, additions, or corrections from anybody? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5B, consider these board appointments, please. It's kind of unique. An Alliance for Drug-Free Owensboro and Davis County, reappoint Erica Wade to a 3-year term expiring September the 2nd, 2026. Northwest Neighborhood Alliance, appoint Patricia Mosby to a 2-year term effective September 5, 2023. And the Senior Community Center of Owensboro / Davis County Board, appoint Mark Schmidt to fill the remainder of an unexpired term which ends December the 11th, 2024, replacing Ed Higdon. Appoint Jennifer Burke to fill the remainder of an unexpired term which ends December 31st, 2024, replacing Joe Bud Mason. And appoint Patty Taylor to a 3-year term effective September 5, 2023. Any discussion? Have we made a motion? I make a motion to approve these appointments. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Ms. Davis, item 6, second reading. This will be a roll call vote.
Ordinance 20-2023, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 2, Section 2-16 of the Owensboro Municipal Code to update the meeting schedule of the Owensboro Board of Commissioners. Read for approval on second reading this 5th day of September, 2023.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Have a second, please. Second. City Manager.
Yes, Mayor, in summary, we've discussed this at a previous work session, our last Board of Commissioners meeting, but this second reading of an ordinance to make changes to our regular meeting schedule. The first monthly meeting is unchanged, so it remains at 5 p.m. on the first Tuesday of each month. The work session on the second Tuesday of the month is removed, and the third Tuesday of the month is moved up 1 hour to begin at 4 p.m. And the intent is that first hour to have the work session type of presentations and then transition into action items after that. As we've talked about, that was the preferred option that we presented among the options that we presented at the last work session.
Yeah, we asked you to come up with these options. You did, and we had 3, I think, and I think the group chose that one. So
that's correct.
Any other questions, discussion? Roll call.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Smithright?
Aye.
Commissioner Neesmith?
Aye.
Mayor Watson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Caslen?
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn?
Yes.
Thank you. Item 6B, please.
Ordinance 21-2023, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2023, and ending June 30, 2024, and amending ordinance 13-2023 to revise beginning fund balances, carry over appropriations for all outstanding encumbrances, capital projects, and rebudget funds. Read for approval on second reading this 5th day of September, 2023.
I'll entertain a motion to approve, please.
Motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. This is second reading of our typical carryover budget amendment. We do this early in every fiscal year, as the clerk referenced, that basically accounts for updated fund balances. When we draft the budget back in March, we don't have an exact idea of the balances that will be in place on June 30th, so we have to update those, and also for projects in progress. So a good example would be the indoor sports facility that we're designing. That was budgeted last year. We've expended some funds, but obviously that facility is not completed, and so it continues in progress, and we update those flows moving forward. Other than that, it's pretty typical, with one exception. There is $92,500 of new funds for a grant match for the airport for a taxiway rehabilitation project. But other than that project, this is a typical carryover budget amendment.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, this will be roll call again.
Commissioner Neesmith?
Aye.
Mayor Watson?
Yes?
Mayor Pro Tem Caslen?
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn?
Yes.
Commissioner Smithright?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 7, this is a first reading of an ordinance. There will be no vote.
Ordinance 22-2023, An ordinance confirming the sale and awarding a non-exclusive gas franchise to Atmos Energy Corporation for the placement of facilities for the transmission, distribution, and sale of gas for heating and other purposes within the public rights-of-way of the City of Owensboro for a term of 20 years, imposing a franchise fee of 3% of Atmos Energy Corporation's gross annual revenues from the sale, distribution, and delivery of gas within the City of Owensboro, and authorizing the mayor to sign a franchise agreement with Atmos Energy Corporation, introduced and publicly read on first reading this 5th day of September 2023.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, in June, you approved the creation of a new natural gas franchise. As required by state law, we put the franchise out for bid, and we knew and expected that Atmos Energy was the sole bidder because they own all the natural gas infrastructure and mains in the city. Therefore, this is first reading of an ordinance awarding the natural gas franchise agreement to Atmos. The franchise term is for 20 years with a 3% fee for use of the public right-of-way because their mains go under city streets, and so they compensate the city for the use of that city or public property. Of that 3% fee, 1% will go to the general fund with the remaining 2% to the Economic Development Fund where it is restricted to the use for that purpose.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Mayor, I would just add that this was negotiated with Atmos. I think they're comfortable in agreement with the terms of the franchise agreement.
I'm just getting ready to say that. But I want to thank you because, you know, we had quite a bit of discussion about 3 years, 3%, 5 years, you know, and all that stuff. And coming to an agreement for 20 years puts us to bed for quite a while, and appreciate your efforts on that. Any other discussion? Okay, thank you. Item 7B, Ms. Davis.
Ordinance 23-2023, an ordinance levying ad valorem taxes for municipal purposes for the fiscal year commencing July 1, 2023 and ending June 30, 2024 at the rate of 26.40 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of real property, 27.08 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of personal property, and 30.30 cents per $100 of assessed valuation of vehicles, and providing for the collection and apportionment of same. Introduced and publicly read on first reading this 5th day of September 2023.
Thank you. City Manager, please.
Yes, Mayor, this is first reading of an ordinance setting 3 different property tax rates for this year. The largest by revenue and the most well-known by far is the tax on real property, or what people would generally consider real estate. We propose no change to the real estate rate from last year, continuing with the rate of 26.4 cents per $100 of valuation. With this rate, a property assessed at $100,000 would pay $264 in property tax to the city. As referenced previously, we also set other related property tax rates. We propose no change to the vehicle rate, remaining at 30.3 cents per $100, the same rate that has been for many, many years. On personal property, the ordinance includes a rate of 27.08 cents, which is down from 27.61 cents per $100 of valuation last year. The personal property tax rate is calculated based on the real property rate as previously referenced. So again, the real property or real estate rate is our most prominent, and it's generally what people refer to when they say your property tax. And it is the far majority of our property tax revenue, and so we're pleased to propose no change in the rate for your consideration.
Thank you. Any discussion up here? Dias? Brian, do you have something you'd like to add? No, I'm okay. You okay? I thought you were going to comment on this. That's all right. Okay. We'll move on to item 7C, Ms. Davis.
Ordinance 24-2023, an ordinance annexing to the City of Owensboro certain unincorporated territory in the County of Davis, adjoining the present boundary line of the city, being property located at 45 Boothfield Road, Highway 3067, containing .995 acres more or less, at the request of Justin Camacho and Casey DuPont, introduced and publicly read on first reading this 5th day of September 2023.
Thank you. City Manager, please.
Yes, this is first reading of an ordinance annexing into the city property located at 45 Boothfield Road. This is a consensual annexation, so the property owners have submitted a signed consent form requesting the Board of Commissioners take this action. The owner purchased a contiguous or adjoining property that is already in the city, and is annexing the property at 45 Booth Field in order to combine the two parcels, and to do so, they must be in the same jurisdiction. So you can see the map there on the screens. It's the area in red, and the owner of that property purchased some of the property in the blue or green shaded area to the right. In order to consolidate, they must annex all of it for to be in a single jurisdiction.
Again, just to verify, this is not something we sought to do. This was requested by the owners, right?
That's correct. It was a consensual annexation that they initiated.
Consensual annexation, okay. All right. Any other discussion? Moving right along. Item 8A, please, municipal order.
Municipal Order 31-2023, a municipal order authorizing the mayor to accept a Home Investment Partnerships American Rescue Plan grant from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development and execute all necessary documents associated to its award. Read for approval on one reading this 5th day of September 2023.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Second?
Could I have a second, please?
Second? Second.
Who'll give me third? Who'll give me fourth? Who'll give me fifth? I know I throw you a curve every now and then. City manager?
Yes, Mayor, a while ago, we were notified that we would receive $1,007,867 in home ARP funds, or ARP funds. These are pandemic relief funds that must be used for the home program, which is one of the programs that Community Development Department manages for the city. This municipal order approves the paperwork associated with the receipt and disbursement of the funds, and the plan is for the funds to be used for affordable rental housing, consistent with the previous documents that you have seen and approved over the past for our community development efforts.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Ms. Davis, item 8B, please.
Municipal Order 32-2023, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a real estate purchase agreement for the acquisition of property located at 600 West 3rd Street. Read for approval on one reading this 5th day of September 2023.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. City manager?
Thank you, Mayor. This municipal order authorizes the purchase of 600 West 3rd Street. The city already owns property to the south, east, and west of this property to be acquired. The site contains a structure that is dilapidated, formerly known as the Sunlight Studios building downtown, and we have received numerous complaints about its appearance over the last couple of years. If approved, the plan is to demolish the building and incorporate this site into the parking lot we own to the south, which some of you may know is formerly the site of Roberts Brothers Automotive for many years. And we would really combine this into parking with the Roberts Brothers site, and then they could serve as parking for this indoor sports facility, which is currently in design and which is across Cedar Street from this property in question. You can see on the map there, it's the little parcel in red, 600 West 3rd that we're acquiring. You can see to the south, we own that. The property to the west is marked as Boardwalk Pipelines. The city actually owns and leased to them for parking, where they have many of their white fleet vehicles that you've probably seen there. And then again, of course, to the east, you see the indoor sports facility that is under construction. So it would be combined into the Roberts Brothers lot, and we'd improve that property, and then it would be available for the sports facility or other properties or events occurring downtown.
Thank you. They're already working on that, aren't they? They starting tearing it down already?
I think the owner is moving out.
Oh, is that what it is?
Had some items stored in there, or had been renting it for storage, so they are vacating the premises.
Yeah, I went by there today and it looked like there was some activity. Okay, thank you, city manager. Any other discussion?
And I will say, Mayor, we anticipated this purchase, so funds are available.
We know you ain't gonna buy nothing unless you got the money. I know you too well. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Approve.
All opposed? Thank you. Items 8C, please, Ms. Davis.
Municipal Order 33-2023, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an application for Law Enforcement Protection Program grant funding through the Kentucky Office of Homeland Security in the amount of $50,093.90, the proceeds of which will be utilized by the City of Owensboro Police Department to purchase rounds of ammunition for patrol rifles and patrol pistols. No match required from the city. Read for approval on one reading this 5th day of September, 2023.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City manager, it said no match.
I like those, Mayor. Those are the best kind, but the clerk gave a good explanation and overview, so nothing to add.
Okay, good deal. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Approve.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8D, Ms. Davis.
Municipal Order 34-2023, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an application for Law Enforcement Protection Program grant funding through the Kentucky Office of Homeland Security in the amount of $9,988.43, the proceeds of which will be utilized by the City of Owensboro Police Department to purchase 88 new ballistic plate carriers. No match required from the city. Read for approval on one reading this 5th day of September, 2023.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve this. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City manager, you have anything?
No, Mayor, I just comment that both this item and the last item were grants that we
Okay.
pursue every year, so we're quite familiar with these programs and hopeful we're successful in our applications.
Not a guarantee though, right?
Not a guarantee, but we feel good about our chances.
Okay, because we've got a great police force, right?
No doubt.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Approve.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8E, Ms. Davis.
Municipal Order 35-2023, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an application for the Services Training Officers Prosecutors Violence Against Women Act Formula Grant Program through the Kentucky Justice and Public Safety Cabinet in the amount of $2,992.50, the proceeds of which will be utilized by the City of Owensboro Police Department to purchase 2 data pilot acquisition devices. A 25% match is required from the city. Read for approval on one reading this 5th day of September, 2023.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
Second, please. Second. Thank you, city manager.
Mayor, this is a new grant program for us. It does have a 25% match that is required. We do have budgeted funds available, though, to serve as that match if we're successful. These are be new pieces of equipment, I believe, that, as I understand it, could be used to access and download information from someone's phone that now would require them to reload out in the field, and now they would have to take that phone to the police station to do that. So it is more convenient both for the officers and for those whose phone is being accessed.
Anything to add, Chief? Okay, thank you. All right. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8F, please, Ms. Davis.
Municipal Order 36-2023, a municipal order of the City of Owensboro, Kentucky, supporting submittal of an Economic Development Fund application to the Kentucky Economic Development Cabinet by Greater Owensboro Economic Development Corporation for access into the Massey site property located within Davis County, Kentucky. Read for approval on one reading this 5th day of September, 2023.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve this. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City manager?
Yes, Mayor. The Greater Owensboro Economic Development Corporation, which we know markets to and recruits economic development prospects for our community. And the EDC has been awarded a state PDI grant for $211,750 for due diligence for a potential industrial site. However, the grant must be administered by a city or a county, so the EDC themselves cannot handle the paperwork. To assist our partners, this municipal order authorizes the city to administer the grant on behalf of the EDC.
Good deal. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I guess item 9, city manager items.
Yes, Mayor, first we'll have the monthly financial report for, if you would acknowledge Angela Waniger to present, please.
I acknowledge you, Ms. Waniger.
Thank you, Mayor. So my PowerPoint presentation will be on the general fund activity for the month of and the year-to-date July. And for those who may be new to our meetings, our fiscal year starts in July and ends in June, so this report will be for 1 month. Please refer to page 3 of the financial packet for more detail. So for the first slide, for the month of July, actual revenues of $5,790,172 were higher than budgeted revenues of $5,247,968, resulting in a variance of $542,204. This variance is primarily due to higher insurance premium license fees and occupational tax withholding. It is worth noting that this is the highest monthly occupational tax withholding for the city. So for the next slide is our expenditures of $4,227,067. They were less than budgeted expenditures of $6,421,499 for a variance of $2,194,432. I'd like to mention that it's not unusual to have a variance like this at the first of the fiscal year, as the budget for some accounts are loaded at 100% for the first of the year. This is due to the fact that either the activity can occur during the first of the fiscal year, or we just don't know when that activity may occur. So the budget is loaded in July at 100% for various accounts to prepare for this activity. The July variance is primarily due to timing in the transfer to the downtown TIF, timing in supplies, which was approximately $375,000. It was for front-loading the budget for computer software and computer equipment. Also due to timing in capital and maintenance, as well as savings of $130,336 in personnel services. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions? Okay. I'll make a motion to file the report for audit. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9B, personnel appointments, sir.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We have several for your consideration this evening. First, for new hire Andrew Mock, probationary, full-time, non-civil service, appointment to firefighter with the fire department effective September 25th. For probationary promotional status, for those who are current employees who are up for promotion, Luke Cecil, probationary, full-time, non-civil service, promotional appointment to captain with the fire department effective September 10th. Ted Johnson, probationary, full-time, non-civil service, promotional appointment to lieutenant with the fire department effective September 10th. Romance Moore, probationary, full-time, non-civil service, promotional appointment to bus driver with the transit department effective September 10th. Catherine Phelps, probationary, full-time, non-civil service, promotional appointment to assistant TAC telecommunicator with the police department and dispatch effective September 10th. Marvin, and in regular status, of those who have completed their probationary period and are transitioned to regular status, Marvin Ammons and Jonathan Cook, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to maintenance equipment operators with the grounds department effective September 11th. And Landon Roberts, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment to facility specialist with the parks department effective September 11th.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve these appointments. Could I have a second, please? Second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. City manager comments?
No other comments.
Ooh. Communication from elected officials, please. Commissioner Smith-Wright, please.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I just want to remind everyone about the Freedom Walk that is September the 11th. And we will start from the #1 fire station. We'll line up at 10:30 and the walk starts at 11 o'clock. And we will walk to the courthouse where the first responders monument is. And this is the 21st year of this walk. So I just ask if you have time to please come and walk with us. Okay, and the other thing is all veterans who might be interested in receiving non-perishable food supplies, that you can sign up at any of the service organizations, the VFW, AMVETS, American Legion, and you will receive these boxes of food every month. You don't have to be disabled. You just have to be a veteran. And so if you would go by and sign up, and we will probably start delivering this food next month. So I'm giving you time to get your name on the list if this is something you would be interested in. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Neesmith.
I just want to say I was excited to see the appointment of Ms. Mosley to the Northwest Alliance. It's one of the things that I've learned as a new commissioner, that our city has lots of resources for the community to ask and questions and to try to help the situations they're concerned with. So the Northwest Alliance is on track to work with all the issues that they're having and concerns that they're having in the English Park area with homeless. So it's good to see the citizens starting that and going in and taking action.
That it? Thank you. Commissioner Cashland.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I was fortunate to get to go to the Habitat for Humanity ribbon cutting for the 156th house here in Owensboro. I mean, you think about 156 houses that Habitat has built over the years. That's a large subdivision, and the McHenry family was very excited about getting to take possession of their house, and had a good crowd there, as there always is, and just wanted to thank all of the volunteers for Habitat of Humanity that put in all the hours that they do. Also, I got to go to the Bluegrass Homecoming Saturday at the Bluegrass Museum. Great show, and I don't know how many people actually go to the bluegrass events that we have here in Owensboro, but it's great entertainment. We're fortunate to have it, and please patronize your local bluegrass whenever you can, because they're great concerts. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to the Northwest Neighborhood Alliance. They're currently working on Groovin' on the Green, which is a musical day in the park over at Monetta Sleep Park. That's going to be taking place September 30th, and the Northwest Neighborhood Alliance is working hard to make that happen. So remember, September 30th, it's going to be a lot of good music there at Monetta Sleep Park. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Glenn.
Yes, I was going to have kind of a musical touch. So I attended, as I know others did, the concert on the lawn that the symphony put on at KWC, and again, it was a wonderful event. Of course, it's free. Attended the L.A. King concert at River Park, was very well attended, and thought it was a great show. And so thanks to River Park for continuing to do and program great programming. Firm Foundation performed at Settle United Methodist Church. That's sort of a gospel on the river replacement. They did a fine job. If you're familiar with them, they're outstanding. Do want to mention I went to the ribbon cutting for Josh's Broken Feather, which is a scholarship named after a young man who died of a drug overdose, and the scholarships, 10 of them were funded this year for students at OCTC. And then, of course, Thursday night, Seven Hills Neighborhood Alliance is going to have their block party at Chautauqua Park. I'd encourage everyone to consider attending that. There'll be free food from 5 to 7 p.m., and then they're going to have their meeting, and you're welcome to attend their Neighborhood Alliance meeting. They're doing a lot of great work over there, and want to encourage people to come to Chautauqua Park for that event. It should be a lot of fun. There's a lot of booths and things. And finally, oddly enough, I was in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was there for their air show, and guess who they had? The Thunderbirds, but I didn't understand how they were doing that because it was so disjointed. So I'm really glad, thanks to Tim Ross and all of his hard work. I love how we do our air show, and I'm looking forward to it. I know the community is too. So I just want to say that our air show will probably kick their butt every day of the week because it's just so well organized. and we too have the Thunderbird, so it should be great. So that's all I've got.
Thank you. August the 26th, we did a really cool thing at the #1 fire station. We installed a Safe Haven baby box. Had a blessing and was well attended. I got to meet this little, I can't remember, was it Amy? Is that what her name was, Chief? You not sure? She raised $3,000 for this box, and which was pretty cool. And I shared then what I'll share now. Maybe I said it before, but my mom was in Belgium during World War II, and there were a lot of children that needed a Safe Haven box, and they would take them to they had a convent there. My mother's great aunt was the Mother Superior there, and the way they did it, they put the baby in the front over the doors, and then you'd spin it around, ring the bell, and then the sisters, the nuns would come and take the baby and take it in and keep it. So that was a very emotional thing to have such a good crowd there. It was very well done, and I wish I could remember that little skitter's name, but she raised $3,000 for that box herself, out just asking people to help, and it was very unique. And I apologize for not remembering her name, but at my age, I'm glad I can remember my own name.
She's pretty young too.
Yeah, she was probably 8. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I won't go through all the places I've been last time. Just letting you know your commission's working for you every day. Next item on the agenda is open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Commission on any matter of public concern that was not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of this commission. Commission meetings are held to conduct city business for the benefit of Owensboro citizens and taxpayers. This time, anyone who wishes to address the City Commission, please make their way to the podium to be recognized. Speakers must state their name and address for the record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required from the city staff or the commission, and I reserve the right to extend or shorten the time for the speaker. So anybody that would like to speak, please make your way to the podium. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. State Senator Gary Boswell. All I want to say is I want to congratulate the mayor and all your city commissioners and everybody who was involved in Friday After 5 this season. I tell you, several times I drove home, especially all the way from Frankfurt, just to be here for Friday After 5. It was a fantastic season, Francine, and everybody was involved in it. I talked to a lot of people down on this riverbank, and there was a lot of people here from out of town. And I always said the same thing you said, Mayor. Just come on, keep on coming, and keep on spending your money. So congratulations. That's all I really want to say tonight.
Thank you. We were a little worried about it being changed this year, and I guess it worked out okay. The whole idea is to create that, that street fair atmosphere, but as it worked out, people at the Holiday Inn did a good job, and I think, do what?
It's 2 years we've been down here.
Second year.
It's our second year.
Second year?
Mm-hmm.
Shows how often.
Rank asked for it. Thank you.
Do you have something you'd like to say?
Yes, Francine Marseille, Executive Director, Friday After 5. I want to thank everyone and the City Commission, Mayor, for supporting Friday After 5. We do have a strong economic impact down there. This is our second year down at the other end. We had a phenomenal year this year with an average of 7,000 people a week, and people in those hotels and people buying those meals. So I just want to thank you all very much for your continued support, and the mission of Friday After 5 continues. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I have quite a few friends across the river, and they come over just for Friday After 5 and enjoy themselves. So it is a staple of this community. Anybody else? Oh, who are you? Oh, Commissioner Smith, right?
Just wanted a clarification.
Point of clarification. Somebody get the pencil out.
Commissioner Glenn, are the picnic or whatever that the Alliance is having, are
The
they,
block.
are they inviting the entire community?
Sure.
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
It's at Chautauqua Park. That's one of the reasons they picked a larger location. Last year, it was at Trinity United Methodist Church, and while it was a lovely location, and Trinity is a great supporter of neighborhood alliances, it's not big enough. It doesn't provide enough parking. So thanks to, and I do want to emphasize, thanks to Adrian Carrico and all of the city staff for supporting it and helping them, they decided to move it to Chautauqua. Oh, it's open to anybody, absolutely anybody, particularly with the idea of getting to know what neighborhood alliances do. Even if it wasn't yours, you can then find out which one is yours. So yeah, and there's free food and all
That's why-
kinds of kids stuff. It's very family friendly.
As a caterer, that's why I said that, because how would they know how much food to fix? Because they don't, you know, you have no
I
idea
think
of
they'll
how many
figure
people
it
are
out.
coming.
They've got some good help. The hospital's helping. They've got some real good groups helping. I think they'll be okay. But it's open to anybody in our
Thank you.
community. Yeah, thank you for highlighting it. Thank you.
Adrian Carrico spends a lot of time on this neighborhood alliance business that you can't imagine how much time she actually spends. So we want to make sure that we recognize her efforts. Anybody else? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Make a motion to adjourn. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.